You ever hear that Texas motherfucker Joe Rooz?
Joe Rooz.
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 He's from Eagle Pass, Texas.
It's like the armpit of Texas.
I watch the Joe Rooz podcast daily. It's a hidden gem.
I don't know. I think he's kind of cute.
I like the crypto psychic he interviews.
Check it out on rumble.com/Joe Rooz.
Transmitting live from the Asylum Studios, deep in the bowels of Southwest Texas. It's the Joe Rooz Show. The show where we talk about anything and everything. Where nothing is sacred, nothing is watered down, and nothing is PC.
All right. Hey, folks, this is Joe Rooz. It is great to be with you guys again, transmitting live at the Asylum Studios, the pimple on the side of Texas, the beautiful city of Eagle Pass. And, of course, doing the very best we can to bring you the best quality crypto talk radio we could muster without all the bluster. Welcome to the Joe Rooz Show, our crypto edition with our resident crypto psychic, Marisa Lee. Well, I wasn't sure if that was going to kick off or not. That was funny. I wasn't expecting to have the camera turn on and me sitting there. I thought the splash screen that I had it queued up behind it would kick on, but it did not. So, all right. So we tried something new, and it worked for the most part. So we'll see what happens. But I don't know how I feel about Taylor Swift thinking I'm cute. I don't know. Not exactly my type, but, you know, take what you can get these days, right? Who knows? I don't know, man. I needed to laugh today, too. I was talking to Marisa right before we started this thing, and I was telling her I was going to mess around with this. And I'm saying, I'm tired, man. I'm tired. But, you know, so I wasn't sure what was going to happen. I'm glad it did. I'm glad we laughed, and at least I laughed. I hope you did, too. And I want to thank Marisa for that when she actually sent that to me. I'll let her tell you the story. See, she thinks about me often. See, you see, I'm telling you, you know. I don't know, my sister might be right. I don't know. All right. You know, somebody actually left a review on one of the shows from a while back. I saw it on, and they left it recently. They listened to an old show from a while ago, and when we were kind of just like figuring out how to do our stuff here, and the direction we were going to go, and he put, I think it's a he put that the content of the show was good, but he had to sit through 15 minutes of junk before he got to it. Well, right there you go, double barrel. All right. The junk is the fun stuff. The junk is the stuff that we like to play with and laugh a little bit. That's what we do. All right, but that's okay. That's okay. That's fine. Ruined my perfect 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, but that's okay. That's all right. I'm not going to say his name, but there it is. All right. Anyway, we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. We have Marisa waiting for us, like I said, and we're going to kind of dive right into this here momentarily, but I just want to ask you guys to please make sure that you like, subscribe, and share the show with your friends, your family, and your followers. And it's important to us because we're looking to get found. We're looking to get this thing moving. And we are, actually. We're doing some pretty good stuff. Our numbers are doing much better. Our audio plays have been really nice. The video's increasing, slowly but surely getting there. We picked up 10 new followers on Rumble. We picked up a handful up on YouTube. So we're excited about that. I'm just encouraging folks that are on YouTube, come over to Rumble. All right. It's beautiful here. The water's nice. The weather's beautiful. It's always a nice, calm 72 degrees. It is heaven compared to YouTube. So come on over. Come on over. Rumble.com/Joe Rooz. Follow the show. It's free. Doesn't cost you nothing. So just do that. All right. Also, really quickly, Podhome. Podhome.fm is our host audio platform sponsor. We have been with Podhome for 3 years, and it is just improving and improving and improving. Podhome is the most modern, easy-to-use podcast hosting platform you're going to find. Use it to publish your episodes, enhance your audio, automatically generate chapters, titles, transcripts, show notes. If you're intrepid enough and you want to add chapter art, you can do that. I was looking at that last night on last night's show. I had 32 chapters on last night's show. I cannot sit there and generate chapter art for 32 chapters. but you might want to. You can do it. The option's there for you. All right. Also, now another thing that they've added recently is that you can actually take your video file, attach it to your audio file, and upload that, and that gets distributed to the modern podcast apps like Podcast Guru, Fountain.fm, TrueFans.fm, Podhome, all those great apps, and the listener can have an option to switch between the audio or video and watch either one of them. I don't know any other platform that does that. There might be one. I don't know, but I just know that Podhome does it, and it is fantastic. So you got to try that out. You can podcast live like we do across the audio feeds. You can listen on our website. You can listen on the modern podcast apps that I just mentioned. That's just a handful of them. There's plenty of things that Podhome offers, so you need to check them out at podhome.fm. That's podhome.fm, and it's only $15.99 a month. You can't beat that. You cannot beat that. $15.99 a month, and you get all of that great stuff, and then you get 30 days free to try it out. So head over to podhome.fm, podhome.fm. All right. Also, don't forget to head over to our website. Look for the contact form. When you get there, send us over a message. Just know what you're thinking. Any questions, comments, cares, concerns. If you have a complaint, which you shouldn't, but if you do, we'll give it its just attention. You could send us a suggestion for a guest, maybe a topic you'd like to cover on the show. We're happy to hear that. You could also leave a comment down below or email us directly at info@joerooz.com. That's joerooz.com. All right, and let's bring her on in here, our resident crypto psychic, Marisa Lee. Hello there.
Hi, Joe. How are you?
I am doing great. So I love the idea that you think about me at 3 o'clock in the morning when you're playing with videos.
Yeah, so I downloaded this app. It's called Parody AI, and it's basically where you can have celebrities say whatever you want. And so I just put that little intro together. I thought it was funny, so I'm shocked you used it. I thought it was just going to be something that stayed between us, you know. But,
it was
hey, if Taylor Swift thinks you're cute, it's a compliment, right? There's somebody for everybody out there.
Mm-hmm. Although I don't know. I'm not...
Not your type. Listen,
No.
she's wealthy. I mean, it's not a bad deal, right? I mean, it sounds like she's taken, but
I could use a sugar mama. That's not an issue.
we all.
That's fine.
Right?
Right, exactly. But I don't know. She's too like there's nothing there. There's like no. She's like a straight line. There's no shape to it.
Yeah.
You know, I like a little
something to grab onto. I get it. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, we're degenerating really quickly because I'm thinking of all kinds of crazy things right now. All righty. So what have you been? I know we did a show last week, and we're trying to get back onto our regular schedule because next week you weren't available. So what has been going on in the last week for you? What's cooking?
A lot of exciting things are happening in the crypto market right now. The fact that the stock exchange is going on the blockchain is huge. I mean, I don't think anybody realizes how big of a gift this is. That's the best way to describe it. So the New York Stock Exchange president went on the news and basically said that they're tokenizing stocks and they're putting it on the blockchain for 24-hour trading and immediate settlement. So here's the thing. This is not in place yet. The infrastructure has been built, though, which is really good. So I believe that not only is more money going to be poured into the stock market because people are going to be trading more 24/7. I mean, I don't know if you've ever bought a stock like on the weekends, like on your day off, you're laying in bed and you're kind of like, oh, let me scroll through my investments. Let me see what I want to buy this week. You know, I've done that a million times. And then the trade doesn't execute until like Monday morning when the stock market opens. 24-hour trading for stocks is huge. And so then also with every transaction, there's going to be probably a very small fee is what I'm assuming. I mean, I don't know like the details of everything just yet, but so some blockchain that's executing this is going to get something financially for every single transaction, which is just going to put more money into the crypto market in general. So, and here's the thing that I think is very interesting. Now, it sounds like, and I'm not exactly sure how this is going to end up being. They could put it all on one blockchain. I don't think they're going to, though. I think they're going to use a bunch of different ones. And I think at some point, pretty much every blockchain is going to be involved in this on some level. Right now, it looks like Ethereum, Solana, BNB, Ondo, and Polygon are going to be the ones like starting off this way. But ultimately, I do think they're going to kind of test and see what's working and, who can do this fast, who can do this cheap. And honestly, they really need to be looking at Algorand. Algorand is going to be top dog at some point in this, is my gut feeling. That's my prediction. That's not an official announcement. Just want to put that out there. But oh man, things are going to get good. I get the chills as I say this. Here's the thing though. The Clarity Act needs to pass. It just does. So if you're listening to this, I pray every single night that the Clarity Act passes. It needs to be a good bill, right? There's some things in there that need to be taken out.
Yes.
But once that's in place, I think the stock market's going to go on the blockchain. It's going to be so good.
Okay. I'm laughing because I asked how you were.
Oh, sorry. This excites me. This excites me.
I know. I can tell. It's great.
I'm good though, Joe. I'm
You
tired.
just, took right off to it, man. That's all
Yeah.
right. That's like what, question number 12 that I have for you today or something? I don't know. I mean, you just jumped right on into it. That's awesome.
I'm enthusiastic. This is some of the best news for crypto investors ever. And right now, the crypto market is just wrecked. Like everybody's kind of doom and gloom, but I feel like there's glimmers of hope here, and it's going to get hot soon. The crypto market goes down really low very fast, and it goes up really high very fast. So we're going to see it go up soon. So if you're listening to this, and let's say, what's today? The 31st of January. Now is a good time to buy. If you have extra cash laying around and you've been wanting to buy crypto, get in now is my best advice, without giving you financial advice, of course.
No financial advice. This is
No
not a
financial advice here.
show. We are
Nope.
not licensed financial brokers in any way, shape, or form. So please invest at your own risk.
Thank you,
I'm getting
Joe.
better at that.
Yeah.
I'm getting better.
This
at
is all our
disclaimers.
personal opinion.
That's
Yeah,
correct. Yes,
yeah.
absolutely. All right. So I'm gonna slow you down just a little bit.
Okay.
We do have an hour,
Sorry.
and you've already gone through almost everything we had planned to talk about in like
Oh
less than-
no. Okay.
less than 8 minutes. So, so for those people who complain that you have to sit through 15 minutes of junk, it is 12:16 p.m. and we already did the whole show. So here you go.
Yeah.
All right. So let's breathe. If you could sit down and have a 2-hour coffee with anyone, who would it be and why?
There's a part of me that would love to sit down with Donald Trump and pick his brain and really talk to him about some things. I would love to talk to Stacey Warden. I've gotten a lot of dreams about her personally and just Algorand, and I would like to verify some of that stuff.
I think we talked about that last week too.
Yeah. I would love to sit both of them down and say, hey, can we get Algorand involved in some kind of government blockchain operation? That would be great.
Yes, like now, because I'd like to see what I have to do better.
Yeah.
But I'm happy with it. I really can't complain. So I'm good with that. But you're the second person that said they would like to sit down with Donald Trump. That since I've been asking that question, that's pretty good.
I think sitting down with any president is a gift, right? I mean, they're being pulled in all different kinds of directions. I think especially if they're a sitting president, and I say that from both sides, right? No matter who is president, I'd like to sit down with them and talk to them and pick their brain.
Yeah.
I mean, they have access to so much confidential information. When you think about it, think about how much confidential information they have access to that they'll never be able to talk about.
That's
I would
true.
love to try to pick their brain about it, especially if they were able to talk about it. I mean, I know they wouldn't, but I don't know.
Well, you never know. Yeah.
Mhm.
Pillow talk, babe. Pillow talk. Did I lose you? Are you there? All right. Well, interesting how yesterday we were talking about Donald Trump and we had issues with our signals. And here we are today and we're frozen again. And so we'll patiently wait for Marissa to come back. But I agree with there you go. You're
Sorry,
back.
my internet is going in and out. Oof.
That's fine. Yesterday we were talking with Dr. Don Weber, and we were having a very, very intriguing conversation. We talked about Donald Trump. We talked about all the interesting things that took place with the whole Venezuela thing, and we talked about some of the stuff going on in Minnesota and so on and so forth. And through the entire conversation, all night long, his internet kept crapping out. My internet crapped out once at least that I know of. But yeah, we were having all kinds of technical problems, and then strangely enough, when we stopped talking about those things, we didn't have any problems with the internet. Everything was working
Interesting.
fine. Quite interesting.
Well, you know, they listen to everything you say and do.
True.
You know,
Very
so
true. Very, very true. So why do you think the Senate's going to try to block this thing with the Clarity Act, and what's the sense of that? Why do you think that's going to happen?
So one of the things that I was reading about is they want to stop Donald Trump from profiting from crypto. Now, on one hand, I understand that.
Or the country
Him
as a whole?
personally.
Okay.
Him personally, just because he's had this pro crypto agenda from day one, right? That's one of the things he ran on. And he got a lot of support on. So as he's sworn in, he releases his meme coin, right? And the meme coin went up pretty high, and then it tanked, and a lot of people lost money. So on one hand, I do understand that concept of, if you're going to be pushing this to the American people, and we're going to be adapting this technology, and this technically is an investment situation, maybe you shouldn't be involved because it's a conflict of interest, right? So I do understand that to a certain degree. However, a lot of members of the Senate and Congress have been involved in insider trading. And, you know, they haven't been prosecuted. They've profited from the stock market. And so when you think of the crypto market as sort of being a little bit like the stock market, because we're starting to view them similarly now, or we're going to be at least, I think it's a catch-22, right? So you can invest, but he can't. Why? Because he's pushed a technology that I think we should all adapt to. So it's a catch-22. I think where Trump went wrong is he released his meme coin. He shouldn't have done that. Not trying to bash him. I know that he was trying to help crypto. I do believe the intention behind it was good. And people could say, oh, he made all this money. I mean, it crashed down. You know, did he cash out? I don't think he did. So I don't really think that there was like a crazy amount of money to be had here. But people will go online and they'll be like, he made millions of dollars. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. I mean, I think that's an assumption, you know. So World Liberty Financial, though, is a crypto company that his sons are involved in, at least from my understanding. And that would be the one thing that I think they should be able to still keep. I think the meme coin should kind of go away. I think they should keep that and, you know, call it a day.
What the meme coin stuff, though, I mean, he is a businessman, you know, at heart. And, you know, when you're in business, you do take risks, and it was a risk. I don't, maybe that's why they don't want to risk. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, they also come up with, go ahead. Sorry.
No, please go.
They also come up with reasons to stop things from pushing forward and to nitpick him in every way, shape, and form. We have to call that what it is.
Of course.
So
of course. I mean, they'll do anything they possibly can to just sidetrack what he's trying to accomplish. And it's like last night we were talking with Dr. Weber. You know, I said the same thing. I'm going to say the same thing to you. I legitimately think that Donald Trump's heart is in the right place. He's he is looking out for the best interests of the country as a whole, not for himself. I mean, I think he's the only president in history that actually lost net worth running for office. You know, hasn't profited off it really in any way. At least not that I know of. I genuinely think that his heart is for the best interests of this country. It's not for himself. It's not for personal gain. So, you know, but of course, his detractors are going to spin it the other way around. They're going to try to make it seem like he's trying to profiteer off the presidency. In the meantime, they do it themselves, like you said, insider trading. They get all the scoops and all these deals that come through beforehand, and especially when they're passing legislation on something that they know is going to impact their portfolios. They know they can go out there and make their changes before they actually pass the thing, and they cushion themselves and protect it. So it's hypocritical and it's disgusting. But again, I think, like you said, his art is for the betterment of this country, to keep this country as the what's the phrase that they use, the shining light upon a hill. I really do believe that. I don't think he has a malicious bone in his body toward the American people, the American way of life, or the country as a whole. That said, unfortunately, you have to deal with these people that are low information people, and they have an agenda themselves. They want to protect what they have, and if they see that someone else is going to get ahead of them, they're going to do what they can to stop it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, it also is the Clarity Act not passing too. I do believe that there are certain people that look at the blockchain as redistributing wealth. Okay. And if you want to stop that, you're going to do everything you can to nitpick every single crypto bill. It's interesting. Dick Durbin sent me an email this week, right? I was reading it the other day. I don't like Dick Durbin. Okay. I think he's a Democrat, right? From Illinois. And I'm like, I never signed up to be on his email list. Coinbase did this thing where they were like, oh, we'll generate an email and send it to your senator or whatever. So I guess he's my senator. And I read this email and he was talking about ATMs, the crypto ATMs, and how there's scams going on and senior citizens are being ripped off using these crypto ATMs. And that's one of his biggest problems. And I'm just sitting there like, huh? And then he also talked about Trump profiting too much from crypto. And I just kind of thought, I felt like those were excuses. I really do. I felt like he was trying to reason as to why he's not going to vote for X, Y, and Z as our representative. And I didn't like that. I didn't think that his reasoning was legit. I don't like him. I think that he's actually not running again, is what I thought I heard. And I was very grateful for that. But I also see a lot of people stepping down. Pelosi stepping down. Tim Walz isn't running again. And I sit there and I take a step back as they investigate a lot of different things. And there's announcements that there's investigations going on. It's interesting to see who's just kind of starting to step back. Oh, I'm going to retire. Oh, I'm having health issues. That kind of deal.
All of a sudden. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know, but and the other thing, it's the same thing on the other side of the aisle too. I mean, it's not just Democrats that are stepping aside; you have Republicans stepping aside too, which is also kind of dangerous in a way because we only have like a 2-seat advantage right now in the House, which greatly puts the House in play for midterms. And if the Democrats win the midterms, forget everything that you're doing here, forget all of this because all you're going to do is bog down in congressional investigations, impeachments, and all that stuff. And all the work that the president is trying to get accomplished with the crypto markets and with the investigations and with, the accountability for all the other stuff that has taken place over the last 10 years or so, that's all going to be washed away.
Mm-hmm.
It's so the midterms are very, very important this year. In 26, they're incredibly important. And, people need to get out there and vote. People need to get their voices heard. Republicans cannot sit on their hands. Just think of how bad it was the first time around when the Democrats had control of the House and all they did was investigate and impeach and investigate and impeach over and over and over again, wasting your taxpayer dollars on ridiculous and frivolous lawsuits and such. It's going to be on steroids coming back if they get it back again.
Oh, yeah.
So it's incredibly important for the Republicans to get off their hands. Don't sit this one out. You have to get out there and vote. Now, are the Republicans the answer to all your problems? Obviously not.
No, because there's fraud on both sides.
Absolutely,
for sure.
Absolutely. But look at what the left has done over the last 4 years with the Biden administration. Look what the left did when Trump was president the first term, when they had control of the House, and just imagine that tenfold. The borders being thrown wide open again. The no limitations on immigration. Just the tax increases. All that stuff that's going to come. See, that's the other problem with our system too. Is that nothing is codified into law. Everything is by executive order these days. And what happens with an executive order when the previous administration leaves? They all get overturned.
Right.
And new executive orders get issued. there's no stability, and you can't have. How do you have a functional society, a functional economy, with no stability? How do you do that? And I think that's done on purpose. I think that's intentional.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they want to keep the wealthy super wealthy and everybody else struggling. And what I pray every night is I pray that politicians get elected that are genuinely working for the best interest of the people. And I don't necessarily like pray for Democrats or Republicans to win, or I want politicians in place that are genuinely working for the people. And that means no special interests, right? They're not being funded by big corporations. And then you got to vote this way, or maybe they're being blackmailed, because there's that too. And there are people that'll get up there on the news and they'll give these speeches. And it sounds like their views align with you, but the way they vote doesn't really align with the best interests of the general public.
Yeah.
And people don't know that, though. They just see what they see on the news and the way people talk, and they're like, oh, that's exactly how I believe. And I think we should all help everybody, right? Because I live in a Democratic state, and a lot of people that live here are Democrats, right? And I talk to them.
That's why it's a Democratic state.
And their belief system is similar to mine, where I do believe that, we should help people. We should take care of people. We should have, easier access to healthcare and this and that. But the people they vote for don't necessarily bring those things.
Well, they say they do during the campaign, then they get into office and they tack the opposite direction. And
or they dangle a carrot and they make it seem like, oh, okay, we're going to put everybody on government aid. It's going to be easier to get. And while everything else is being siphoned, gas prices go up 50 cents a gallon, income tax rates go up. That's not good. So when you give on one hand and then you take from the other, that you're not working in the best interest of the people.
Exactly. Well, we kind of really pivoted away from the whole topic of cryptos and
we got to get
financials.
back to that.
So I want to ask you about this, about Tether. Now, Tether's buying gold right now to back because Tether's a stable coin, so it's buying gold to back itself. And you're looking at these wild prices in the precious metal market. Like, who ever thought, that silver would be over $100 an ounce? And yet here we are. It's great because I started buying silver when it was like $20-something an ounce, so I'm happy. I'm good. But I mean, there are going to be fluctuations though, and I think that a lot of this is being manipulated. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, it's absolutely being played with. So Tether is buying gold every single month. They're storing it in Switzerland and like a James Bond like situation. They're buying like I want to say it was like a ton of gold every single month. I mean, it's crazy amounts. And that's good because then it backs their stable coin with something that's of value, right? And because the US dollar, it's kind of losing its value. So but the thing is though, what happens when the gold prices go down? I feel like because gold is a worldwide market, it's not just a US market. We're going to see a price dip coming up here soon. Didn't we already see a little bit of a dip in the price of gold and silver recently? I thought I heard that the other day because I've been predicting that for a little bit. Like, oh, we're going to see, a spike up and down. Yeah. It's moving fast. So. Yeah.
But its trend though is trending upward. And, and the market's going to correct itself on it for sure. Absolutely. And it's not just like private companies buying up gold like Tether. We have countries buying up gold. Like China is a very, very big buyer of gold, and also the silver market, which is part of the reason why around the holidays you saw the silver market starting to increase, is because China was buying bulk silver, so shortening the supply, which of course is common sense, supply and demand. So it's something to keep an eye on for sure. There's a reason why they're backing this stuff with precious metals. There's a reason why they're backing their economies with precious metals, and why this country came off the gold standard, I don't know, but we did. And we need to get back to that. And I think getting onto the blockchain is also going to be a huge help to that, to shore up the value of the American dollar. But I think Yeah, I just think that's it. We just got to keep watching these markets and be smart about it. Invest. And
Yeah.
like I tell folks also with when they get their tax refund, I do it in a joking way, but it's serious. When you get your refund check, it's not free money. Take that money and invest it. That's money that you could have used all year long to invest. The government borrowed it from you, and then they're giving it back to you without any interest.
Yeah.
So just take that money and invest it in something. Don't blow it on some frivolous thing. Invest your money smart. Get into the crypto markets because, like you said, it's going to improve over time. It's a patient thing. You have to be patient with it. You can't just dump some money in there, panic, and jump out. You got to stick with it and keep going with it. It's so when you get that refund check, don't waste it. Don't go buy a big screen TV and something else that you really don't need. Invest the money smart. Invest it in precious metals. If you can afford to buy gold, buy gold. If you can buy silver, there's plenty of options out there to do it. Get into the crypto markets. What's Algorand at right now?
The last I looked, it was at like 11 or 12 cents. So
buy something.
yeah.
Buy something like
It's
that. Load up on that because if you're right and this does, and this deal with getting the stock market into the blockchain, it's going to be huge. It's going to be a huge move, and you have the possibility of making some really good money. Now, again, not fine. This is just we're just talking. This we are not. This is not financial advice. We are not brokers or anything like that. This is just our observation of everything that we're watching going on with the markets, and all signs point to invest. At least my opinion. My opinion, not fact. My opinion. Okay.
Right. No, absolutely.
All right, rant done. So what's your prediction on XRP for by the end of this year?
I know this is going to sound crazy, but $20. Now, I'm not one of those people that are going to go and say, "Oh, XRP is going to be worth $10,000 a coin." I mean, you get that all day, every day, or even $100 a coin. I think that's a little bit inflated, and I think $20 is on the high end. Okay, just for the record.
Okay.
So here's the thing: we're under $2 on XRP, and so we're lower than we were last year. Once the Clarity Act passes, I strongly feel that Brad Garlinghouse is going to have some good business deals coming his way in some way, shape, or form. Maybe it has to do with the stock market. Maybe it has to do with something else. I'm not 100% sure, but I see him from a psychic standpoint. This is just my opinion. Making some big deals that contribute significantly to the total market cap of XRP. And XRP is a very, very high supply. So to think of like a $20 XRP, it's just like, wow, right? Something is going to shift big time with XRP. And even if, let's say, we're not in that $20 range, let's say we're a little bit under, okay? Because sometimes I can overshoot, but overall, I see XRP doing really, really well in 2026. We just need the Clarity Act to pass. We need to get the stock market on the blockchain. We need a new federal chair in there. That's happening May 15th, and that cannot happen fast enough.
And I think the guy that the president tapped for that is very pro crypto.
Oh yeah, he is. Was it the best choice that he could have made? My opinion, no. But we'll see what happens. I don't want to say anything bad. I do think that it's definitely going to be a big improvement for sure. And I was scrolling through YouTube videos, just kind of doing some research on who was saying what publicly, and I saw this little speech Jerome Powell gave, and I don't remember his exact words, so don't quote me on this, but he basically, a reporter asked him a question, and his response was something to do with, well, I don't know, I have to talk to the banks, and I want to make sure the banks aren't negatively affected. Like, so to me, when he said that statement, I felt like his interest is more in keeping the banks happy, and the banks run everything. So, and when we talk about setting interest rates and the banks and what are the banks going to think? Oh my gosh, like, my question that came to my head was, is he really working for the American people? He can justify his actions all he wants, but that was my gut feeling on that, was that, well, who's he really working for? What are his best interests? It was just a question.
Yeah, no, I never liked Jerome Powell.
Mhm.
Even though Donald Trump appointed him the first term, his first term, I thought it was a bad move. But I since I've known of Jerome Powell in his first, when Donald Trump first put him in and up to now, I don't think he's ever not sided or at least tried to show his support more for the banks than the country as a whole and the people of the country as a whole. So I agree with you there. He always sends that signal out that he's more interested in keeping the banks happy and screw the people.
Yeah.
So, which is why the interest rates, he refuses to lower the interest rates because the banks make more money on that, obviously, and
Right.
so on. And the new guy coming in has already said that one of the first things they're going to do is reduce the interest rates significantly. So I hope so. That would be a huge boost for the economy, and that's something that we need, especially before we get into the midterms. A lot of is hinging on appointments like this. So hopefully, it's a good choice, and hopefully they follow through on it. The last thing we want to do is lose the House in the midterms. And, I've been saying it since last year, when right after the inauguration. All right, great, that race is over. Let's focus on the midterms already. You got to keep it going. You got to keep it going. I am genuinely concerned about it. I truly am. I talk about it a lot. I don't want to see it fall back. I don't want to lose this momentum. We're on the precipice of some really great things. I would like it to be already here, but you can't.
Yeah.
You can't turn a cruise ship around on a dime. It takes time to slow these things down and turn them around. And I think we're seeing some good progress on it. So I'm excited to see what comes down, especially when the new guy gets put in there. I was gonna try to Google him, but I don't know. My browsers are acting all kind of crazy right now, so I'm not going to be able to do that, unfortunately. And my browser just crashed on this side, so I don't know. Anyway, it's just technology, and I guess we're upsetting people. I don't know. So so where do you see the crypto market in about a month?
As long as the Clarity Act passes, I see it in a much better situation. So I'm not exactly sure when they're planning on voting on this again.
I was just going to ask you that. Do you know?
You know what? I don't know offhand. Like, I think there's like a partial government shutdown going on right now. I don't think that's going to last long. I think they're going to get things straightened out. See, one of the things that I really like to see is ICE pulled out of Minneapolis, and that to me was an indication that the Trump administration does not want to see a government shutdown. So, because I know that was really upsetting a lot of people. So to me, that was them kind of negotiating, hey, let's not shut the government down. We'll pull out. We'll let this be for a little bit. They're still doing investigations over there, though, like criminally, politically. Where's the money going? They're doing it in California, too. Watch what happens in California. They're going to uncover so much fraud. It's going to be ridiculous. And, Gavin Newsom thinks that he's going to be running for president, and he's this good looking guy, and he thinks that he can talk really good and people like him, and I'm just sitting there looking at him like he's a scum. I don't like him at all. I feel like he's a liar. I feel like he's not the best candidate, and I think they're going to uncover a bunch of things.
I think he feels like he's untouchable.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's going to be knocked down. You watch.
No.
Legally,
yeah,
legally, not like
No, for sure.
That's my prediction.
He's he reminds me of a used car salesman.
Yes. Oh my
game
God.
Show host. One of those old style game show hosts.
Yeah, right. The Price is Right.
Oh, Bob Barker. He was the best.
Yeah. Well, Spencer Pratt is running for mayor in LA. I love that. He's not necessarily a politician, and I didn't really like him necessarily on like reality shows, but I think he's uncovered a lot of stuff legally with those fires and where the money went and all the fraud. And I'm like, yeah, go Spencer. I totally support him. I hope he gets in. California needs some better people representing them. And a lot of people kind of walk around and they're like, oh, you know, I have these democratic points of view, and they're good points of view. Like they want good things for their state, right? But the people that say they're going to do this and represent them end up kind of not doing that. So there's like a disconnect there. And I hope I think the people of California are kind of starting to see that. So
I think so too. And but unfortunately, the way California politics are and the way their districts are set up, it's, even though California is really a very much red state, they just can't crack through and get a good solid conservative in office up there. It's difficult. It's very difficult. I'm kind of hoping it just eventually falls off into the ocean, just floats away someplace. Oh wait.
Well, I don't want that, because I have, I know people in California. I've got family out there, and I mean, so I don't want anything bad to happen in California personally. I do feel like it's a little bit risky living in coastal regions, where you're right up against the ocean. I feel like, with all the weird weather patterns that we've had, I feel like that's going to continue. And who knows, are we going to have a flood? Are we going to have an earthquake that leads to a tsunami? I feel like more tornadoes are coming this year, bigger ones. Oh, and here's something interesting. I wrote this in my February crypto report that comes out tomorrow on Patreon. So check it out, patreon.com/crypto psychic. I had a dream, Joe, that Oklahoma and Louisiana had a really big storm that wiped out houses. And so I was looking at a map, because I've never been to Oklahoma or Louisiana. Mm-hmm. And I saw that they're kind of close to each other. They're not bordering states, but they're very close. And so I'm kind of sitting there thinking to myself, like, is this the same storm that's going to go from one to the other? Like, so I didn't know. I didn't have that answer. And I didn't get specifics on what kind of storm. Is it going to be a hurricane? Is it going to be a tornado? I mean, obviously, Oklahoma, I would assume a tornado. Louisiana, I would assume a hurricane. But those are assumptions. And when I get messages, I don't like to assume. But I had a very strong dream. And I woke up saying, like, I just wake up and it's like, Oklahoma and Louisiana are going to have a big storm. Like, that's kind of how these messages come to me when I wake up, and then I have that message, and I repeat it in my head, and I repeat it out loud, and I'm like, okay. And usually those end up coming true. And the reason I know this is because I also get a lot of messages about the people around me, like friends, family, whatnot. And I'll call them up when I have these dreams, and I'm like, hey, I had this dream about you, and this is what I was shown. And they're like, that just happened. How did you know? And so that's happened to me time and time again. So I know I'm getting these messages. So pray for the people of Oklahoma and Louisiana. I hope that doesn't happen, but that could happen sometime in the next few months, maybe a year. I also didn't get when. I don't know. I'm just passing along the information that I received. Oklahoma, Louisiana, big storms.
But I mean, you do know these things because you do have some psychic abilities. Mm-hmm. So that's how you know. I mean, right. But I was speaking of the weather and stuff that's going on. Like I saw something and I bookmarked it, and I went back to get it, and it's strangely enough my bookmark was not there. And I remember bookmarking it. Okay, I'm not trying to throw conspiracies out there. Don't start rolling the eyes and all that stuff. All right, folks, please. I know the internet stuff yesterday, little hiccups today, and all that stuff. I get it. It's not what I'm saying. But where they said that apparently there's some evidence, not verified or anything like that, but there's some evidence that the recent cold weather that we've been experiencing has been geoengineered.
Nothing surprises me.
No, not at all.
Yeah, and then there are people that are all about like the global warming thing. I feel like there's something a little bit off with that. And they just, when you say, maybe I don't agree with you, they just get mad and they say, science. They put it on the news. It was science. I'm just kind of like, okay, all right. Well, yeah. If there's global warming, why is it, 3 degrees by me? I don't know.
Well, because global warming makes it cold.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm not an expert on weather. I'm not an expert on global warming. I can't sit here and have like a really good conversation with people about the topic of global warming because I'm not educated enough on the topic. But to me, there's something that feels a little bit off. I think there's been laws that have been passed in the name of global warming, a lot of funding going to it, a lot of tax dollars going to it. And where are they going? and they get scientists that back this stuff, and then they put that information out, and that's what people believe. So is it a scam?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes, it is.
It's debatable. I think there could.
It's a money laundering scam.
All
right.
Yeah.
Does climate change occur? Yes, but occurs naturally. There's this big yellow, orange, glowing thing up in the sky there called the sun. Sometimes it runs hotter, sometimes it runs cooler. It's called nature. Natural cycles. That's all it is. It's I don't know. I just think
I don't know.
People are always looking for the most elaborate reasons for things when you don't need to. Sometimes the most obvious thing is or the most simplest thing, and that's like a principle. Is that Occam's razor or something like that? Sometimes the most simplest thing is the obvious answer. It doesn't have to be complex and complicated. It's why make it more complex than what it really needs to be? Weather's a cycle. Things change. What caused the global warming that took place when the dinosaurs were here? I don't think the dinosaurs were driving SUVs.
Yeah.
I don't think they were. I don't think they had their cookouts and stuff. It doesn't make sense. All it is, it's a money laundering thing. That to me, that's all it is. Tax dollars. Look, the government throws money at climate change. The government throws money at the war on drugs. The government throws money on all of these things that it should correct and fix, but it never does. It's all money laundering. I'm convinced of that, and you're not going to change.
Yeah. But here's the thing. This is one of the things that I tell people. I tell people not to focus on things you can't control.
Right.
We can't control whatever's happening in this situation. We can't control whatever's happening in politics. We can't control what laws are being passed. Sure, you could vote for your representative. You can do this. You can do that. You can write letters. And I encourage people to do that, right? Like if you want to protest peacefully. Hey, it is what it is. I believe in everybody's freedom of speech. That's so important these days.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. I wanted to. I did actually, and you reminded me of that. I wanted to ask you about this earlier. Have you done any kind of reading over what's going on in Minnesota?
Not really. I mean, I've caught a couple of headlines, but I don't really watch the news on a regular basis because I find it lowers my vibration.
Well, no, I meant like with the cards.
The cards.
The tarot cards. Have you read the cards? Anything going on with Minnesota? Like, are you getting anything from that?
So one of the things that I've felt as things unfold is there's going to be major. The investigations are still ongoing. They're going to uncover a lot of stuff over there, and they're going to put out. We found fraud here. We found fraud here. I don't know if Tim Walz is going to finish his term. I think Bohr is going to come out. I think that I'll just leave that there. I don't want to accuse anybody of anything. I got to be careful what I say. So I think more fraud is going to come out from Minnesota, and it's going to be serious stuff, not just little bits and pieces like, this Somalia, like Leering Center or whatever. I mean, that's just such a small piece. They're going to uncover a lot more. And I thought I heard something about forged documents where they uncovered them forging documents. I think more is going to come out about that. California, more like the stuff they're going to uncover in California is going to be so much bigger than Minnesota.
I have a feeling you're right on that.
Yeah.
I also have a feeling you're going to find an awful lot of stuff over in New York and Chicago.
Chicago, they need to come to Illinois.
Illinois. Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait. I don't feel like anything's happening right now, but I feel like Illinois will absolutely be up there. These governors that go publicly and they talk about the president and how terrible he is, but at the end of the day, they want to be him. J.B. Pritzker, he tried to rename Lake Michigan, Lake Illinois, kind of like how Trump did with the Gulf of America. I'm just kind of sitting there like, you just want to be him. You just want that kind of support, and then he's sitting there taxing every little thing individually on top of the high income taxes that we pay and the sales tax that we pay. You got to pay, like if you buy paint now, there's an extra tax to that. And he's taxing like services now is what I heard. I don't know if that's actually in place yet. but I mean, it's just constant. Like he is all about taxing and getting more revenue for Illinois. And I'm like, where is all the money going? You know? So
No, for sure. You also heard about the signal chat thing going on in Minnesota, where the Minnesota Secretary of State, I think, was involved with this signal chat group that was leaked and revealed that that some high-level officials within the Tim Walz administration up there in Minnesota were actively encouraging and giving instructions to some of these groups that were protesting. I don't even like calling it protest because it's really not a protest. You know, you want a picture of what an insurrection really is. You're looking at it taking place in Minnesota. That's an insurrection. You know, you have a sitting mayor actively saying we're not going to comply with federal law, and we're not going to enforce federal law. We're not going to assist in enforcing federal law. You have a governor who basically says the same thing over and over and over again. That's an insurrection. That's actually what's taking place up there. And now you have this leak of these signal chats where high-level administration officials of the state of Minnesota are actively working with and supplying information to the people that are organizing these riots and all this stuff going on up there. It's I think you're going to find out a lot more. I think you're right. I think they're barely scratching the surface on this. I think it's going to be huge when it all comes out.
Well, there's a reason there's a big pushback. There's a reason they're trying to get people to rally against this. But here's the thing though, I believe in freedom of speech. So if they want to rally people to protest peacefully, fine, whatever. It's where things get out of hand, right? And that just gets a little funny.
None of this is organic though. This is all, these are all paid protesters. I mean, look at it. Look at the setup. They all have the same body armor all of a sudden. They have body armor. They're showing
crazy.
up. They have medical tents. They have food stations and things all set up all over the place. They have materials being dropped off. They have supplies being delivered. Where's it all coming from?
Yeah, that's a little weird to me. I guess I'm a little bit out of the loop when it comes to that because I don't watch the news. I don't really know what's going on. I know that there was protests. Yeah. I don't know. Minnesota's a mess. I would not be going to Minnesota right now. It's just like, ugh.
No, and it's unfortunate because Minnesota is actually a beautiful state. You know, I've been there twice in my life. You know, and it's a beautiful place. It really is, but not now. I mean, it's that one party rule has wrecked a beautiful state. Absolutely wrecked it, and it's a shame. It's a real shame.
Well, that's somebody that was going to be the vice president when you think about that.
And the reason for that was because as the vice president, he had more control over hiding all of the fraud going on up there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's that. I mean,
that's the reason. And also it would guarantee that voting block of that Somali community up there, which has a lot of sway, has a lot of say in what goes on up there. And by design. And you have Ilhan Omar up there talking about how she's not there to represent, not in Congress to represent America. She's there, or her state. She's there to represent Somalia and the Somali community.
Really?
She said that.
That's crazy. I'm a little bit out of the loop on that one, just because I don't really pay attention to the news.
Yeah, no, that happened like some time ago. That's not a recent statement. That's something that came out. I think maybe about a year ago, maybe a little bit less than a year ago. You know, it's this is what happens when you allow naturalized citizens to run for office. You shouldn't. They should not allow naturalized citizens to be elected to political office. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You should be a native-born citizen.
Yeah. We're seeing that more and more. I know in Illinois, I saw a commercial of a guy running, I don't remember what he was running for, if it was Senate, Congress, House, I don't remember. But he said that he came from India with $300 in his pocket. And then a couple of years later, he's a millionaire and now he's running for office. And I kind of saw that and I was like,
Yeah.
You know, and listen, I'm not about like not diversifying, right? I mean, I think everybody should be represented, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, okay, so if you did that, you worked really hard and you had nobody helping you. I don't know. Like there was just something weird about it. It gave me a weird feeling.
Yeah. No, well, it should. It absolutely should.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry if this offends people or anything like that, but I honestly, the only reason why that it's in the Constitution that says to be a naturalized citizen is because when the country was founded, most of the founding generation really weren't native-born Americans. They were they were immigrants coming in, they were colonists coming over from Great Britain mostly, so they had to have something in there, and that's why it's there. But it doesn't need to be that way anymore. I think now's the time to make a change like that. It shouldn't be naturalized citizen. You should be a native-born American citizen to run for office and to hold office.
Or here's another thought. You have to be here for at least 10 years before you can run. I mean, because then that way you're not like, okay, so let's say that you're a kid and you're born in another country and your parents move you here. And let's say you move here when you're 5 and you basically grow up here and you want to represent your country because that's, where you've basically grown up. You should be able to do that because you can't control where you're born. But there should be something in there where you need to be a resident for a certain amount of years before you can run. That's just my personal opinion. That makes it a little bit more fair, right?
Well, I could concede that. I would concede that, but I don't know. I think I just think that something needs to be fixed with that.
A lot
system,
needs to be fixed
with that situation as well. With people who can run for office. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. Foreign-born person coming here with no allegiance to this country, running for office, dictating how the American people should be living their lives and so on and so forth, while they're advocating for their community, as they put it, their community, their people, their country, which is not this country, which is the country they came from. So and that's their words. So that's what kind of gets me. But on that note, my dear, we're gonna wrap this baby up because it is that time already, believe it or not.
So can I say one last thing?
Yes.
To everybody listening to this, get some crypto in your portfolio, not financial advice, my personal opinion. I'm telling you, the crypto market's going to get hot. The Clarity Act will pass at some point, whether it's February, whether it's March, whatever. Once it passes, I see a bunch of money being poured into the crypto market, things going up like crazy. This is good money, right? So then when that happens, everybody's going to be all happy, but then it's going to tank down again. Okay. Like the crypto market moves fast up and it moves fast down. So when the market moves up, if you convert your crypto or maybe a small percentage of it into a stable coin, it'll help retain that value, right? Make money while it's available. So after it dips down again, big time, we're going to get a new federal chairman in there. And that's going to help spike up the market again. The second half of 2026 is a lot better for the crypto market than the first half. The first half's going to be up and down, a little bipolar, right? Whatever. It is what it is. Ride the waves, get some crypto, buy when it's low. When it's low, that's when you want to buy. You don't want to be doom and gloom and say, oh, I lost money. I'm already down. I want to sell it. Don't do that. That's the worst thing you can do. I'm telling you, the crypto market is going to get so good. This is where a lot of people are going to get wealthy. In the long run, it's not a get rich quick overnight situation, but I'm telling you, when you can buy something for, let's say, Algorand, 12 cents a coin, and maybe, in the future, it hits $5, that's a big profit margin. You can't make that in the stock market. So,
absolutely.
Absolutely. Get some Algorand. I have a lot of confidence in them. I'm telling you, I see them doing like huge things and a lot of adoption coming for that blockchain.
I hope you're right. It's time to explode my crypto portfolio. So let's hope you're right.
On Solana, I see Solana hitting $700, maybe in the not so near future.
Where is it now?
So,
I haven't checked Solana in a while.
I want to say it's at I thought I saw it at 123 or something like that. I don't know. It fluctuates $20 up and down, whatever. It's super low right now. Now, I personally got into Solana at $8 a coin, and that was a couple of years ago. I think that was in 2022. They were having outages, and everyone's like, oh, Solana's doom and gloom. And I'm like, they're just having a technical issue. This is the time you want to buy. And I bought it. So that was a great investment. But it also kind of goes to show you give it a couple years and your crypto portfolio goes up like crazy, and it's good.
Patience. You have to have patience.
yeah, you can't make that kind of money in the stock market. So this is where it's at. You want to create some real wealth for your family long term, get some crypto. It's not even necessarily going to be like, a 10-year game. You give this 5 years. Oh my gosh. And you're the person that bought crypto 5 years prior. And there's going to be people 5 years from now that are just starting to buy crypto and they're going to be way behind. So get ahead. Even if you just throw $25 a month into the market, I mean, small amounts, like something you're not even going to miss, you'll be in a good spot.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I've been trying to do myself. I throw a couple of bucks here or there wherever I can. I've been buying algo, because it's affordable. 12 cents a 12 cents a share, 12 cents a coin is not a lot of money to spend. So you can take $20, you can buy yourself a nice chunk, and just let that baby sit there, and just let it go, just let it ride.
And another message I want to give out to everybody. I know that there's a lot going on politically in this country, right? I don't pay attention to the news because I feel like it lowers my vibration. I listen to preachers online. I try to become more connected with God and my spirit guides and the saints and everything spiritual, right? Because I'm kind of in that line of work, right? I try to help guide people spiritually in a good direction. Don't worry about politics. This is stuff you cannot control. I know we talked about it a lot here and how it affects everything because it does lead into the crypto market, but don't worry about things you can't control. Pray for the outcome that you want. Pray for something that is in line with your beliefs. Pray for the politicians. Pray that politicians start voting and working in the best interest of the American people and your best interest, and pray for the president, whether you love him or hate him. I do all the time. I've been doing that for years. It doesn't matter who's in office. I always pray that they make decisions that are in the best interest of the American people and that are godly decisions. Pray that people around them are of godly descent, like they have got good faith and they're connected as well, because that's really where it's at is spirituality.
Agreed. And the biblical, we are directed biblically to pray for those that are in authority over us. So you should be praying for them. So which preachers do you listen to?
You know who I really like?
Me?
I like this guy called Mike. I can never say his last name. Malagies, I think it is. Malagies. He's like in his early 20s and he has millions of followers, and every single day he makes a couple of videos. It's just like a positive message from God. Yeah. And then he'll also be like, can I pray for you? And then he puts out like a positive message. And then he's also a Christian rapper, which I'm not really big into rap music, but I listen to a few of his songs, and there's one that I really, really love. It's got a really good beat and it's got a good, godly, positive message behind it. I love that kid. He is amazing. And when he talks through my phone and I'm just kind of scrolling, I get chills every single day. He gives such powerful messages, and I love stuff like that. And I also listen to some priests too, but they also get to the point where they start preaching against tarot, and they're like, oh, it's the devil. And I don't believe that. Or, they preach about, if you're gay, you're going to hell. I'm over that. I don't believe that that's true in any way, shape, or form. So it's just stuff like that where the priests start to lose me, but I do watch them for a certain period of time. Then I'll pick another priest and then he loses me. Right. But I do like the energy of priests in general, even though I'm not Catholic. I have a very strong connection to priests, probably because of my Padre Pio experience.
Yeah. I was going to ask you that too. Is that why you feel a draw to it?
Yeah.
Have you seen that priest, that Catholic priest that throws raves?
No.
I'll send you. I'll send you a link to one of his videos.
That's interesting. Yeah, I love techno music. Yeah,
it's quite interesting. But I don't know. We'll see. Well, I don't know. Have you checked out my show on a Sunday? And no.
You know what, Joe? I need to do that. I will do that. I will
do?
do that. Your Bible study. Yeah.
Tomorrow's going to be a good one. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about the millennium. It's going to be interesting. Yes. We finished the church age last week, and tomorrow we'll get into the millennium. And then the week after that, we'll get into eternity. And then after that, I'm probably going to take a Sunday off, and I'm going to then come back, and we're going to do a chapter by chapter of the book of Revelation. So
nice.
appropriate. So we'll see. But I hope you could check it out. I would like that. It would be a lot of fun to get your critique. And hear what you
Yeah,
have to say
absolutely.
about
I'll check it out. Oh, one of the things too I want to make mention of, as we're talking about like spirituality, one of the things I love to do is I love going on YouTube and I type in like near death experience.
Mhm.
People that have had some kind of experience where, let's say, they got into a car accident or they had a heart attack and they go to the other side for a certain period of time. They have a spiritual experience and then they come back and they have this amazing story. And one of the things that I love about that is that there's a lot of similarities to these stories. So you can kind of piece together what really happens when we die. What are the real rules? Is everything exactly structured how the Bible is telling us? And from what I'm learning on this is it's close, but it's not exactly, right? Not every little thing in the Bible is perfect, right? Because God doesn't give us anything that's perfect. He always gives us something with challenges, right? So I found a lot of good spiritual information from people that have had these experiences and come back. And 9 times out of 10, they become psychic too, which is interesting. And that's happened to some of my friends. I've known a lot of people that this has happened to. And this is a common theme where, they get into a car accident or something, and then they come back and poof, they're psychic. And it's amazing.
Interesting. I have to check into that. I'll look at that.
Mm.
So, anything else? So, where can we go to find out more about you and your work?
Well, my website is sacredtarotcardreadings.com. But I also run a Patreon group where I publish a monthly crypto report. You can check it out right here, patreon.com/crypto psychic.
Outstanding. And we have all of that in the show notes already. So, folks, you can very, very easily find you. And I hope they do. All right. Well, Marisa, thank you. I appreciate you being here today, and thank you for the video again.
No problem.
I had the little graphic on the side here, and I keep looking at it. And I'm like, oh, should I play it again? Nah. I'll save it for the next time you're on the show. That's how.
Okay.
Maybe
I'll make a new one. I'll make a new one.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, you can make a generic one for me if you like.
Sure. Yeah. Let me know what you want.
Perfect. All right, Marisa, thank you again. I appreciate you. I really do. And the insights that you bring are just amazing. And it's like I tell people, you're spot on a lot of the things you say. I mean, you're pretty good. You made me some money, and I like that.
Oh, well, that's a good thing. Good. I'm happy. I'm happy to hear that.
Always. No. In all seriousness, no. I mean, anybody that I talk to about you, and I tell them that you're coming on the show. I tell them the same thing. I say, you got to listen. She's spot on. You're spot on. And I appreciate you, and I appreciate you doing this and taking the time out of your day to spend with us like this. So I really do appreciate that. And so nothing next week, but the week after, right?
Not this Saturday, the following Saturday. So what date is that? We can put this out now so that way people know. Because I haven't put out a schedule. Okay, so hold on. We're in February. That's Valentine's Day.
Who cares?
All right. I'm down with it. I don't care either. So
we'll put little heart overlays over all this.
We'll do a Valentine's Day edition. We'll do it at noon. Let's do it at noon. I like the noon because then that way I have the rest of my day.
Yeah.
So Saturday the 14th at noon Central Time, I will be live on the Joe Rooz show on Rumble.
Outstanding. Appreciate you. All right. That's about it. So we're going to wrap up here. I'm going to go through my little shout outs and end this thing for today. All right, Marisa, thank you again. I'll talk to you.
All right. Thanks, Joe. Take care.
Gotcha. Thanks. All right, folks. Marisa Lee, make sure you check out her website. Make sure you check out her Patreon. Subscribe. All right. She really does really good work. And I kind of poke fun a little bit here or there, but she's super good person, super cool to talk to, and really smart, especially when it comes to the crypto world. She knows what she's talking about. You can reach out to her. You can ask her questions, and she's very quick in getting back to you on those things. And don't forget, check out her website, check out her Patreon, and help her out as she continues on her way. All right, folks, shout outs today to our executive producers, Wayne Rankin, Rosanna Rankin, Carolina Jimenez, Marisa Lee, and of course, Anonymous Angela. Thank you guys for all that you do, and thank you for all the support that you've shown the show. These folks donate their time, their talent, their treasure, and you can do that too. So you can find out more about that by heading over to our website, joerooz.com/support. That's joerooz.com/support. And you can find all the different ways that you can help support what we're doing here. If you like the content, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the show, follow the show, share the show with all your friends, your family, and your followers across your social media. help us get found, help us get noticed, and help us to increase our followers here, because we are doing well. We're doing very well. We picked up, I said earlier, for folks that are just jumping on now, we picked up 10 new followers on Rumble. We picked up a handful up on YouTube. Our audio downloads are doing very well, so we really do appreciate that. So so make sure that you help us out by sharing the show. And head to the website, sign up for our email list, get on that thing. We just send out a weekly digest of everything that took place during the previous week, and we'll give you a tip off to what's coming up in the following week, so we're not going to overload you with stuff. So sign up for that. It's on the website. As soon as you get to the site, boom, it's right there. So make sure you take a look at that. And I think that should be it. Now, tomorrow we're going to have our Sunday Bible study show. And as I said, we're going to be continuing on with our study of the dispensations. We're moving out of the church age into the millennium period. That's the 1,000-year reign of Christ physically on earth from the city of Jerusalem. So we're going to talk about that in some detail tomorrow. And then after we'll get into the dispensation of eternity. Not a lot of information on that, but what we got, and we're going to talk about that on next Sunday. So, folks, thank you again for taking the time to be with us today, and I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to head over to the website, check out our sponsors. They are all listed on our show notes. Take a look at their stuff, get on board with them, help us out, and don't forget also to send us over what you're thinking. Let us know any comments, questions, cares, or concerns, and we will see you tomorrow. In the meantime, make Texas independent again. Go podcasting. Keep a steady stride. Keep talking. Have a great day, folks. Enjoy it. Talk to you tomorrow.